Can you believe me if I tell you that researchers recently discovered some items that actually break the laws of history? These aren't just old dusty pots. They are strange mechanical parts and chemical mixes found in places where they simply don't belong. Every time someone pulls one of these out of the mud, it forces us to rewrite our entire timeline of human ability. And today's conversation is all about 15 mind-bending finds that left the experts speechless and totally confused. So, let's peel back the layers on these impossible treasures and see why they leave everyone stunned. Number 15. The Hellenistic baby bottle. If you ever wondered how parents handled feedings 2,000 years ago, look no further than this earthenware bottle found in a Turkish infant's grave. Discovered in the ancient city of Parian, this Hellenistic-era vessel comes with a single handle and a built-in clay pacifier at the mouth. It's essentially a sippy cup from the ancient world, oven-dried and placed in the tomb as a final heartbreaking gift for the baby. We've found several of these across Roman and Hellenistic sites, but seeing one perfectly preserved really hits different. It connects us to the tiny, everyday struggles of ancient parenthood, mixing up whatever passed for formula and trying to soothe a crying child. These bottles are more than just pottery. They're physical evidence of the tenderness and care that existed in a society we usually only think of in terms of wars and empires. Number 14. The Aljaf camel carvings. Imagine trekking through the Saudi desert and stumbling across a cliffside covered in life-sized, high-definition camels. It sounds like a hallucination, right? These massive carvings in the Aljaf province went totally unnoticed until 2016, probably because the shifting sand dunes were gatekeeping them for 2,000 years. The skill level here is actually insane. They didn't just do camels. They carved horses and donkeys with this weirdly perfect anatomical accuracy. But here is the part that keeps me up at night. There is zero evidence of any ancient city nearby. No houses, no trash, not even a single stray tool left behind. It's like a group of master artists just showed up in the middle of absolutely nowhere, spent months chipping away at sandstone, and then vanished into thin air without leaving a footprint. Who were they showing off for? The vultures? It's a literal art gallery with no audience. Number 13. Algerian fogaras. Imagine standing in the middle of the scorching Algerian desert and finding a massive network of underground rivers that shouldn't exist. That's the fogaras of Adar. Instead of building aqueducts on top of the sand where the sun would just evaporate everything, these ancient engineers dug deep into the hillsides. They created these miles-long subterranean tunnels that used gravity to pull fresh water down into hidden pools. It's some of the most sophisticated hydraulic work on the planet, and it's over 2,000 years old. The sad twist? Modern life is actually killing them. We've built schools and hospitals right on top of these hollowed-out paths, and because the ground is so weakened by the tunnels, the buildings are literally sinking into the ancient plumbing. It's a frantic race right now to save the modern city without destroying the very tech that kept the desert alive for millennia. Number 12. The Crocodile Stone of Wat Pho. Okay, so there's this hunk of rock in Laos that literally looks like a crocodile, but don't let the shape fool you. It might actually be a nightmare carved in stone. We're looking at a relic from the 5th century Shenla Empire, and these guys weren't exactly known for their peace and love vibes. They were big on human sacrifice. While the surrounding temple ruins are from the 12th century, this specific stone is way older, and it's a total one-of-a-kind. You won't find anything else like it in Cambodia or Laos. Some people try to play it safe and say it was just for catching rainwater, but the carving is so specific to the human form, or a reptile, depending on how much wine you've had, that it feels much more intentional. It's sitting there in the middle of nowhere, holding on to secrets about what happened on top of it 1,500 years ago, and honestly, we're probably never getting a straight answer. Number 11. The Phadan Moor Psalter. Imagine pulling a 1,200-year-old book out of a wet Irish bog and finding out it has a secret connection to Egypt. This medieval psalter, stuffed with 150 psalms on vellum, survived the damp Tipperary marshland simply because the lack of oxygen kept the leather from rotting away. When specialists finally pried the stuck pages apart, they noticed something that made their jaws drop. The leather cover was lined with papyrus reed. Now, papyrus isn't exactly native to Ireland. It's a classic Egyptian material. And this tiny detail suggests that the early Irish church was way more connected to North Africa than anyone previously dared to think. It took ages of slow drying and delicate restoration, but this bog book now stands as a physical bridge between two completely different worlds. It's a messy, leather-bound mystery that proves the medieval era was anything but isolated. Number 10. The Prehistoric replica sword social media almost broke when news hit that a royal sword from the Prehistoric collection had been found on Cambodia's Phnom Bac mountain. People were losing their minds, sharing photos of this legendary blade and waiting for the police to confirm its ancient royal pedigree. But here is the awkward part. Once the experts actually got their hands on it, the whole thing deflated. It wasn't a centuries-old treasure. It was a modern replica. Someone had used current manufacturing tricks to mimic the original Prehistoric design and then left it out there to be found. It's a massive reality check on how fast a story can outrun the facts when everyone wants to believe they found a piece of the monarchy. Even though it had zero archaeological value, it definitely gave the local police a busy week and taught everyone a lesson about internet hype. Number 9. The Bronze Age bone skates. While we use skates for fun today, 3,500 years ago in China's Xinjiang region, they were a survival tactic. Archaeologists digging in the Gaotai ruins found these blades made from a single straight piece of bone with holes bored into each end to lash them onto boots. These aren't just random finds. They match prehistoric European skates almost identically. This implies that the people in ancient China and Europe were somehow sharing tech support across thousands of miles to figure out the best way to cross frozen lakes. They weren't sharpened like your modern hockey skates, but the natural edges of the bone were slick enough to glide over ice rather than trekking around it. Whether they were for a winter hunt or just getting from A to B, these bone blades show that humans have always been obsessed with finding shortcuts through the cold. Let's keep this momentum going with a find that literally rewrote history overnight. Number 8. The Hazelwood Chariot. Axle water is usually the enemy of wood, but for this Iron Age chariot Axel found near East Cambridge, a soggy pit was a total lifesaver. Because the hole was waterlogged for over 2,000 years, the wood didn't disintegrate. When they pulled it out, they realized this thing had lived a very rough life. Radiocarbon dating puts it between 400 BC and 100 BC, but the wood shows signs of being burnt, broken, and then, in a classic reduce, reuse, recycle move, repurposed. Someone had taken the busted axle and used it to shore up the sides of a waterhole to keep the dirt from collapsing. It's such a human moment. Rather than tossing the expensive chariot part when it snapped, they turned it into a piece of DIY plumbing. We rarely get to see the actual scrappy side of Iron Age engineering, but this charred spindle tells the whole story. Number 7. The Pazuzu statue. I am Pazuzu, king of the evil spirits of the air. That's the terrifying flex inscribed on a 6-inch bronze statue from ancient Mesopotamia. Dating back to somewhere between 900 and 600 BC, this figure is the stuff of nightmares: a dog's face, bulging eyes, goat horns, and a scorpion tail. Even though he was considered the king of evil, people actually kept these statues around for protection. The idea was that Pazuzu was so scary that he could scare away other demons, like the ones who brought drought and famine. This specific find has his right arm raised and wings spread, looking like he's ready to violently emerge from the mountains, just like the text says. It's a tiny, scaly reminder that for the people of the ancient Middle East, the wind wasn't just weather. It was a supernatural force that you had to negotiate with using bronze and talons. Number 6. The ring. That's a computer. Can we just talk about how the 17th century Chinese elite were basically living in the future? While everyone else was fumbling with giant wooden boards, some genius in the Qing dynasty decided to shrink a whole abacus down to a ring less than half an inch tall. It's actually a fully functional personal computer you could wear on your finger. But here's the catch. Unless you had fingers the size of toothpicks, you had to carry a tiny needle just to move the beads around. Traders used these zhuxuans to do math right in front of customers, probably looking like absolute tech wizards. The real mystery that stumps everyone today is how they even made something so microscopic back then. We're talking precision engineering before microscopes were even a thing. Some experts think one single anonymous inventor might be responsible for all of them. Talk about a stealth genius. Number 5. The military metro mansion. Imagine you're just trying to expand the subway system in Rome, and suddenly your drill hits a 14-room luxury mansion. That's exactly what happened with the Metro C line in 2018. This place belonged to a 2nd century military commander, and let me tell you, he was living large. We're talking marble floors, fancy mosaics, and a central courtyard with a fountain. One room even had built-in heating, basically the 1,800-year-old version of smart home tech. But the weirdest part isn't the luxury, it's that the whole place was deliberately buried. It wasn't an accident or a flood, they just filled it with dirt and walked away. The city still needs that subway finished by 2022, so archaeologists are in a mad dash to save the floors before the trains start screaming through. It's like a high-stakes episode of HGTV where the renovation involves a literal underground empire. Number 4. The Palpa killer whale. Get this. There is a 250-foot-long killer whale etched into the Peruvian desert, and we basically lost it for 50 years because someone forgot to write down the directions. Someone snapped a photo from a plane in the 1970s, but they didn't keep a record of where it was. So it became this archaeological urban legend until 2017. Why on earth would people living in the middle of a parched desert 2,000 years ago carve a massive sea monster into the ground? The theory is that orcas were seen as powerful deities, so this was likely a massive, please don't kill us gift to the gods. It's mind-blowing that something that big, longer than a Boeing 747, could just hide in plain sight for so long. And now that it's been restored, you can see it clearly. But the why behind it is still as murky as the deep ocean. I bet you've never seen anything like this next one. It's absolutely mental. Number 3. Aeolipoli, Hero's Engine. This one is the ultimate what-if of history. About 2,000 years ago in Alexandria, an inventor named Hero built the Aeolipoli. It was a hollow sphere with nozzles that would spin like crazy when you boiled water inside. It was, for all intents and purposes, a working steam engine. But here is the tragic part. Hero just thought it was a cool toy or a temple trick. He never realized he could hook it up to a carriage or a mill. If he had, the Industrial Revolution could have started in the year 50 AD. Instead, the idea just sat on a shelf for 1,800 years until people in the UK finally figured out how to make a train out of it. It's crazy to think we could have been flying to the moon during the Renaissance if Hero had just been a bit more ambitious. Number 2. The ghost town of Old Dongola. Ever been to a place that just feels finished? That's Old Dongola. Sitting right on the Nile in Sudan, this place was the buzzing capital of the Makuria kingdom for like 1,000 years. Then, in the 14th century, everyone just packed their bags and ghosted. No war, no massive flood, no plague, just a "we're out" vibe. It happened twice, actually. First, the locals bailed, and then a group of merchants from Genoa moved in, only to vanish shortly after themselves. By 1348, the Book of Knowledge, was already calling it a deserted mystery. And there isn't a single scratch on the walls to suggest a fight, and the river was behaving just fine. It's like the entire city collectively decided the energy was off and moved 50 miles away to start over. Two different civilizations, same mysterious exit. It's the ultimate historical ghosting story, and the ruins are still standing there, completely silent. Tell me what you think of this next one, because it's been haunting my search history for days. Number 1. The Algerian Terracotta Army. Forget the massive stone soldiers of China for a second. Cypress has its own terracotta army, and it's a chaotic, fascinating mix of Bronze Age art. These Algerian sculptures range from tiny 3-inch figures to statues over a foot tall, all found huddled together in an ancient sanctuary. And they act as a 3,500-year-old window into how the cultures of the Minoans from Crete and the Mycenaeans from mainland Greece were constantly swapping ideas on this island. People didn't just make these for fun. They were votive offerings, basically prayers in clay, left at shrines to ask the gods for a favor. With their arms raised or stretched out in specific ritual poses, these simple human and animal figures represent a massive exchange of religious, tech, and artistic style. It's a crowded, clay-filled snapshot of a thriving community that sat right at the crossroads of the ancient world's busiest trade routes. It's pretty wild to think that while we're out here stressing over Wi-Fi, our ancestors were building steam engines and wearing ring computers just for the flex. History isn't just a list of dates. It's a giant mystery box that we're still digging through. If these impossible finds blew your mind, do me a huge favor by hitting the like button right now. It really helps the algorithm show this to more curious people. And if you want to be the first to see the next batch of discoveries that shouldn't exist, click subscribe and turn on those notifications. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I'll see you in the next one.